Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are. It's a beautiful day. I'm Latina Russell, and I am a Lemurian sisterhood host from Australia, and very, very honoured and privileged to be here with you today with my dearest and our dearest Dr. Amber Mele'ha Wolf. And we are, Amber, of course, is the founder of the Lemurian Sisterhood, a beautiful global goddess network that is stretching all over the goddess grid of Gaia. And we've come to you today to meet you all and to be with our Lemurian soul family. And what an honor it is to be here. I am going to go ahead and open this beautiful session that we have today and ask you all to join with us, taking some lovely deep breaths into your heart space as we allow our Lemurian souls to bubble up and really take the lead at this time. So if you'll go ahead and find a comfortable spot with me, and maybe place your hands on your hearts and let us begin. And just breathing deeply through your nose into that beautiful space that you know to be your heart. And allowing your very clever brain to take a back seat at the moment for this next 45 minutes, 40 minutes or so that we have before us. And as you are breathing, remember that you are here together with your Lemurian soul family, your soul tribe here on the planet today. And you're in exactly the right space. You're in the place you agreed to be so that we could all meet like this. Ai ori ki saile okere mena ishe ile kara aise lo oro korosana mana ike e. And they are welcoming us together, and this beautiful circle that they are showing of the lights joined as we are holding hands, touching souls and holding hands across Gaia. And take another deep breath with me. Dai shikroro onomana ise ale ichororo I oro o harare iti alo ore mana ishere ihiskere ore. La haide shi kamono o hora laie do sho holorono e. And when you're ready to come and join us in this space, just come on back. Take a nice deep breath. And allow any of the softening and any of the images and anything that calls you forward, just allow that to flow now. And enjoy this time and space as we talk with you about Lemuria and our journeys to be here today. Well, Mele'ha, that beautiful language has come through for us that you have actually helped me to name as the language of Lemurian unity.
Well, Latina, and aloha and mahalo to everyone listening. Thank you for coming together and awakening your Lemurian soul. Latina and I have had a beautiful journey in this Lemurian landscape of our souls as her akash continues to awake, as I continue to receive messages from the Star Mothers, as the Lemurian Sisterhood hosting program, the Worldwide Sacred Circles continue to grow all over the planet. So it's just always my honor and my pleasure to talk about my favorite thing, Lemuria. And I just love spending time doing that with you, Latina. So thank you for putting this together so that I could just show up.
Thank you so much. Well, it's wonderful. I'd like to talk about our connection from the beginning, if that's okay. And because how this started was that we just said yes. And well, I said yes to something that had been calling me forth for a really, really long time. So, as some of you might know, uh, that I work with the whales, and Mele'ha was instrumental in allowing that to blossom in me in a way that I could actually work out. Well, now what do I do? How do we work with these physical creatures? Because for so many years, in fact, my entire life, more so in my teenage years, um, they were calling me in the way of dreams and very present in my dreams. And not just dreams that would float away when you woke up, they were dreams that really stayed with me. So, very much more like experiences. And I remember, Meleha, it might have even been 2016 that we first communicated via email about their sisterhood and me becoming a host. And at that time, I was very much drawn to that through the work of Cryon, and I found you, and I couldn't believe what I'd found. But the timing just wasn't quite right. And, as we know, the divine right timing, it has to be for things to slot in. And as you were mentioning earlier, before we started meeting today, it's about 9 years that this Akashic unfolding began for you in this way with the Lemurian sisterhood.
Yeah, and it's funny when those dates come and go and those anniversaries come and go. I kind of forget, and then I realize it's past, and I start counting on my fingers, and I'm just amazed because it feels so quick, but it also feels like a lifetime. And it really is a lifetime, um, in many ways, because it's a Lemurian lifetime.
Yeah,
And that's what, as you said, that beautiful word, that's what's bubbled up for me in these past 9 years, since my Akashic awakening, is manifesting all of the things, or not all of the things, many of the things from that Lemurian lifetime. And there are so many other people who have had that similar experience, like you and the other hosts in our program, and people not in our program, and other kinds of Lemurian circles who have had now that awakening, because the planet has been preparing for this for 25,000 years. So, as Monica Morani likes to say, welcome to the 25,000-year family reunion.
and that's a big family.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
How many millions or millions of us?
350 million. Yeah.
350 million awakened and awakening souls
Yeah.
holding light on the planet as our beautiful Gaia ascends. And I will share my story about that in the hope that others who are listening can also feel that they can take small steps when the time is right. And I'll share that in a moment. But wow, we something that I always mention is that in my circles and in any kind of sessions like this is that we we designed this as nothing by chance, that you are an awakened woman, that I'm an awakened woman, that there are many, many women who are still waking up, but we're all on our ascension path in different spaces within that, um, within our on our journeys, all in different spaces, no one righter than the other and no one further advanced than the other, just that some of us have been doing it for longer, either longer in this life or longer in many lives before. And all of that is pulling into this time and space reality now, where we are finding ourselves on our awakening journeys, knowing what we know with our healing and intuitive gifts. And the reason that we are coming to the fore now is to bring balance to our beautiful Gaia and to the civilizations and the families and the workplaces that we live in, because that is mirroring what we did in Lemuria. And it was meant to be. We designed it this way. There's no chance that we would have all been here doing this now just by chance. So,
And I think that it feels important to mention that sometimes people get impatient with, they want to know what they did in Lemuria, what their names were, when they were there, all those different things. And if you can have the patience to look back at this life and see how one thing had to build on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until today, until this moment, you know that in order to go forward or upward, you need a good foundation. And at the time when we're having experiences, we don't really think of creating a foundation for the future. We're just having experiences. But if we look back and even just look back a year or and then look back 5 or 10 and notice how the experiences in your lives have created a foundation, have hopefully taught you the things you need to be in this moment and then to get to the next moment. So when you're feeling not connected to where you want to be, which may be more information about Lemuria, what was your Lemurian name, those kinds of things, give that place of peace to yourself and say, it's the right time and the right foundation and the right thing will unfold for me when it's time. And it doesn't make you any less than anyone else because something has happened to me that hasn't happened to you, or something happened to Latina that didn't happen to someone else. We have to really get out of the box of competition, because that's kind of what we were raised in the form of masculine patriarchy, school systems, and parenting, is that, if you were only more like your sister, if you were only smart as your brother, if you were, my student is the best, my son is the best student, blah, blah, blah. Because each one of us is bringing a unique piece of the puzzle. There can only be one piece like you.
yeah.
It won't work. I mean, when you buy a puzzle that has 1,000 pieces, none of them are the same. You can try to fit them together, but it will not make the right picture. So if you will allow yourself to be still with that and know that the perfect time is always now, and that
Yeah.
you're not going to be like anyone else or manifest anything else, or be called to do anything else other than what is meant for you. And there's nothing wrong that it's not happening in this moment, because it is always already happening. We just expect it to be different. And when we have those expectations, we have disappointments. So let's let all that go out on the tide.
Yeah.
And when it comes back in, it will be transformed as love for yourself and patience for who you are and what you have to bring forward, because we all have something and it's all part of the necessary pieces to bring the planet into that ascension alignment, as we're doing right now.
Yes, that's beautiful. Absolutely. And that actually ties in perfectly with what I'd like to share about my own story. And Because not because it's about me, but because I hope that it will really give hope and encouragement to anybody who's listening today who doesn't believe that they're on their path. Because just because you're here, you know, you're on your path, you're in the right place at exactly the right time. And certainly there was so many times I'd wondered, and look, it would probably add up to years, you know. What on earth am I, how am I ever going to, why am I not yet able to do this? And when I look back, as you said, Mele'ha, at the actual journey, it started when I was a child. You can look back that far and see, okay, I was a child, I grew up. Every week I was on the ocean with my family, my sister, my mum and dad, because my dad built boats as a hobby. He was so clever. He still is so clever. And luckily for us, we had this dad who could not only drive the boats, he could build them. And, and we would go and spend hours every weekend out on the ocean. So I always grew up very comfortable with the ocean. My dad is Chinese. He was interested in palmistry. So I began to feel my way through these things that led me to feng shui, which led me to looking at energy in a different way and wondering where it all came from. How did that come into the hands of man? I then became fascinated with how people who were clairvoyant and psychic could actually discuss people's futures. And does that mean it's actually happened and it's going to happen, and how much free will was in all of that? So I began questioning all of that. I was always a seeker. And then I went into playing with the runes and the cards myself. And then I really began to learn my first metaphysical kind of exploration really was when my children were born. My twins were born in 2004, and my eldest daughter was born in 2002. And when my twins were born, I decided that I would study feng shui and Chinese metaphysical sciences, so the art of reading the Chinese astrology charts and the I Ching. And I did that in great depth for many years. And then that led me into this into Reiki and the Chiron modality of energy healing. And then from there, I stepped into more mediumship. And that's when I really allowed spirit to come closer and closer to me. And having not done any of that other work before then, I wouldn't have been familiar with what it felt like to allow the flow of energy, or to know, even to develop a bedside manner when I'm dealing with clients, and what that actually means to people when you're talking about their energy space. So when I was in mediumship and really sitting in a mediumship circle, I allowed spirit to flow through me in a way that I'd never done before. And for me, I was very, very comfortable with that. Now, for a lot of people, they talk about that and it can be fearful for them. But for me, I loved it. I loved the feeling of love that just came over my body when that happened. And then I really began to meet my guides through that process. And now I know one of them to be my Lemurian guide self, who I've been shown was me. So I'm meeting myself, which is a funny concept. And of course, the whales, the whale unity heart, who then I began to allow to flow. And then I began to channel them. And it was then, this only happened through meeting of Mele'ha and then saying yes to the sisterhood. I also had a very powerful activation in 2017 where the whales came underneath my family and me in kayaks on the ocean. And then I signed on as a host, I think that very year. And then it just all unflowed from there. I would never have known how to say yes to that It was the whales calling me forth, but at the same time, the Lemurian sisterhood was there in parallel. So I didn't know when I was answering the call of the whales that I would ever be working with Lemuria and the essence of Lemuria, and that this would be my work. Um, I said yes, and it all unfolded from there. So that's how it happens. You just follow the call, follow where your heart's leading you, follow the images and the dreams and the daydreams, which are not really daydreams. It's your akash opening and calling you forward. And when you follow that and allow your heart to lead you, you will be saying yes to something that you may not know what it is. But if it feels right, then you just say yes and allow the unfolding of that to follow, and it really will.
Oh, that's beautiful. You said some things that I didn't know. Isn't it amazing how you grew up in a place that and with parents that really would nurture the in the country on the ocean that would nurture that part of you. um, I also grew up on the water and spent most of my life there, but now I live and I have lived in the desert in the mountains, and that of course is because I lived in the mountains in Lemuria too.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that I know there are some people who are not feeling like they're in the right place and the right time, and who are not feeling like doors are opening, and who, have to work hard and support a family and don't have time for the things that look like, fun and game and leisure that we do, which is really a lot of work. But I just want to say to those women that keep asking your star mothers to show you the way. Keep asking the star mothers to open the
Mm.
doors for you, because you can step forward into the magic of who you are. And I don't mean this in a fluffy metaphysical way. I mean it in a real way that can be life changing for you. Both Latina and I, and all of the hosts that are in the program, have had huge life changes since they've said yes to becoming hosts. And it doesn't just take this program to do that. Please don't think I'm saying that. What it takes is your willingness to say, okay, I am worth this. I am a powerful, magical woman, and I need to be supported by the star mothers, or I'd like to be supported, however you word it, to take the next steps that are right from my soul. And keep asking,
Yeah.
affirming, because otherwise, you have to let the universe know that you're ready. You can't just wait for it to come to you. You don't have to go chase it, but you have to keep saying, I'm ready for this. I'm ready. And I would tell all the hosts as they say, sign their contract and say yes to this. I said, your life will never be the same. And we don't know how that will look, because everyone is different and everyone has a different life path, as I said. But when you say yes to that akashic place in your soul that is remembering that you have a mission here, then the doors fly open, the synchronicities happen, people fall into your life, and you find what it is that draws you forward
Yeah.
to your life's purpose.
Oh, that's exactly right. And I believe as well that it's important to let everyone, to remind everybody that you might not have a public face of any light work that you do. You don't have to. You may not be an author or public speaker, and you may not have a healing practice, but that doesn't mean that there's any less. And so I know that you would feel a pull in you and a want to have those things, perhaps, But it's not always necessary, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing what you're here to do, because just holding light within your families, with your children, holding light within your extended network of friends and your extended family and your workplace. How many workplaces need the light right now because either they're trying to find their balance in a new way, or they're really they just need some help, or there's people in there that you're meant to touch before you leave. So it's really important that just know that even by being on Gaia today and know that you are carrying the light, you're a light bearer.
Mm.
Just by being here today, you are doing what you came here to do. If you can do more than that and you're being called to do more than that, then as Mele'ha says, just ask and say yes when you feel the synchronicities and when you notice the synchronicities, and watch the unfolding and watch how your life changes. And yeah, I certainly can look back, as you say, Meleha, even in the past couple of years or 3 years, I think, since I've been alongside you, and my life has changed dramatically. And the things I thought that were a real bother then, I'm still having them in my life and realizing now that, they're meant to be here. So making peace with where we're at on our journeys is really important. And so as women here to support all the women and men on their awakening journeys, we say that to make peace with where you are and just to love who you are and have compassion for what you came here to do, because massive it's a massive undertaking that can be painful at times. So that's why we're here joining together our Lemurian souls, meeting our Lemurian soul family, so that you can feel the support and the love of the points of Lemurian light that have awakened all across the planet today.
Thank you, Latina. And thank you for mentioning that. That it isn't always the face of the public speaker. I mean, you and I do that, but I have a whole team of people that support me so that I can sit here and do this, and post production also. And they don't want to be on camera, but they have talents that I don't have. And some of them, the people that do, the woman that does my shipping and the graphic design and all of these things, it's all a necessary part. But more than any of that is being a light, finding your own light, believing in yourself and your own light, your own value, honoring, empowering the divine feminine. That's what the Lemurian Sisterhood logo says. And once you find that for you, then you hold the light for others so that they can see their way to that. Women, men, children, doesn't matter. The women
Yeah,
are the ones that start it, but it doesn't matter who does it. It's as long as it's happening.
yeah, that's beautiful. That's exactly right. So we just hold the light and know that whoever is drawn to us, they're drawn for a certain reason. And by us allowing our Lemurian souls to shine from within and allowing our light to shine from within, we are giving permission for others to do the same. And as you say, Meleha, women, men, children, and all in support of each other, the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, working in partnership to allow those little beautiful lights to grow and shine of their children, who will be really the light bearers of our awakened planet
In the future.
of the future. Yeah. Meleha, so I wonder, in the time that we have remaining, we probably have about 15 minutes. Would we like to bring through our beloved star mothers and our beloved whales, and let's
Mhm.
see if they have what they would like to say today to this community and this soul group who gathers here.
I would think that's going to be magic. I'm excited about that.
Yes, this is a
Done this, so
no,
yeah,
this is really
I'm
a world
excited.
first.
Yeah, so let's just do it and see how it unfolds. I know that from we know from the teachings of Cryon about the women's intuition being the guidance that was talking to the men about where to fish. So Cryon said that a lot. In Lemuria, the men listened to that from the women, and the men went out and fished. What Cryon hadn't said and didn't know, but came through the Star Mothers through me, was that the women were connected to the whales, certain women, and the whales would tell the women where the fish were. Who would know better than the beings that are in the water with them? So you see, there was this beautiful harmony, and then of them working together. The whales talking to the women talking to the men going out and fishing, or not. The whales send a message to the women that says, it's, too turbulent today out here, go over there, or don't go. And the women would say, don't go. The men would go, okay, time to, do something else. So you see this cooperation in a society that really was not competitive, and how empowering the divine feminine to remember who she is and remember that beautiful place inside her that hears things and knows things, we bring cooperation back to the planet. So here we are, Latina and I, in cooperation with the voices of the Star Mothers and the whales.
Mm.
So once again, if you would please drop into a place of softness and receiving, and take a breath and just allow all that's going on inside of you. You may be very excited about Lemuria, about whales, about your akash. Just let that sort of drift away, and as if you were standing in a little tide pool where there's very little movement and the water is just reflecting the sky. Maybe your feet are in the water and in the sand, and you're just gently gazing into that pool, and you see your own reflection, the reflection of the clouds, perhaps some rocks or trees around you, and you feel at one and peaceful with Gaia, with the star mothers, with the whales. And take a breath. Dear shining ones, we step forward into this beautiful sacred circle to be with all of you today and in the future. We come, of course, as you know, from your past. That is the beauty of being multidimensional, isn't it? All places, all times. This place and this time is important because we are giving you something that has not been revealed yet on this planet. We are asking that there be a conversation between us as there was in Lemuria and the whales. For it was us, the star mothers, who taught the women, the first generation daughters of the star mothers. We taught specific women, not all women, to listen for the song of the whales, to listen to the information that the whales were sending to them. These women had a unique crystalline, we will call antenna, built into them. Not all women did, but the tendency was the first born of a star mother and her daughter and her daughter's daughter, and so on, kept that. You would call it genetics today. We would not. But that antenna was a part of their being, generation after generation. And those were the whale communicators. Just as the beautiful star goddess, Shah woman, Latina, is a whale communicator. And so will her daughters be, and her daughters' daughters. This is how it began. And this is one way that we can bring you home to your 25,000 year reunion, as our dear Mele'ha has said. So take a breath with us and come back in time, back to that tide pool on the shore, back to the ocean, back to the sand, and just wait for the message from the beloved whales.
Uru honi sina aili ohroko ai shera rakea. Mi oro ore sikat ainimo oro koro iskera rai ishuk I decide. And dear ones, they are touching that part of us that is crystalline now and asking us to remember. Remember. Gaia is a crystalline world, a crystalline planet. We are crystalline beings, and the whales are our brothers and sisters in the ocean. They are crystalline. And this is what they say to us today, is that they touch a part of us when we are ready to remember. Our crystalline antenna, as the Star Mothers say, is such a beautiful image to hold when we are asking for information from our beloved whales and from our beloved Pleiadian star mothers. We stand here today as awakening humans on this planet, and our brothers and sisters, the whales, are there holding us as we awaken. Our Pleiadian star mothers are watching us, helping us, holding us, and encouraging us to awaken to the truth that is within us as they originally taught us. So as we are asking and as we are opening up and allowing that antenna to sparkle, its crystalline nature to sparkle, attracting to it what we are wanting that is perfect for us. They take us back to the sand of the sacred space and the sacred shores of Lemuria. And they remind us that the ones who spoke with us then are the ones who are again speaking with us now. And they remind us also that there were many other things that we did there, many other things the women and the men did. And they say to look for that in your life today. Look for the essence of that and follow the trail, for it will be similar. And to hear these words now and to allow them to awaken within that crystalline core of you and allow that antenna to sparkle and receive what it is you need to know. So please take a deep breath and be open to receive this beautiful language of Lemurian unity that binds us all together. Raka isikaraka ade so uru ulukirishida aiti. Ere or kharizi mini iside ishode inanai e. Me uru kuruside ididi kararai ishide soru or. I feel a very sparkly light, like glitter being sprinkled into each of us with these beautiful words. So just have that image in your mind of your crystalline core and the crystalline grid inside you that you carry as alive and sparkling, and allow these words to make it even brighter. Chukadai saka aj oro odisiti idisiti shododo okorodi e decided edipo okorodi e nada I sodo sodo sikadai de so de shokoramana e kedesi nidishi karare e. And picture yourself standing in that beautiful little rock pool with the water gently lapping at your ankles. And you are feeding the energy down into Gaia and at the same time drawing energy up through our beautiful Gaia and feeling the crystalline waters that have been activated by our beloved whales soaking into the pores of your skin. And know that you are in the right place at the right time. And that you can find yourself back here in this beautiful little rock pool with a sandy bottom, in the sacred sand of Lemuria, anytime you like, with your crystalline antenna up and receiving the sacred information from our star mothers and our beloved whales. And we give thanks to the opening and to the activations and to the energy that's been shared here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we step back, and as we go, we say these final words to all of you who are listening now and who will listen in the future. This is the legacy of the Star Mothers. There is a crystal on the mountain in Lemuria now. It is the same crystal that was there then, when we were teaching you, when you were at our feet. We placed it there 200,000 years ago, as we placed others, 11 others, around the planet. This one, this crystal is the one that you know, that you resonate with when you say the word Lemuria. It feels your words and it sends a signal back to your heart that says, yes, yes, dear shining one. Why do you think we call you shining ones? It is because you are reflecting the light of the original Lemurian crystalline grid. And you will continue to, because you are carrying the DNA of the star mothers. You are our little stars, our star seeds. And we continue to surround you with that light reflection. Let it be your guiding light. Let it remind you why you're here. And let it give you strength and hope and faith that you are here for a purpose, for a reason. You came back now. And no matter what is going on in the world, your Lemurian akash is with you. That is what you know. And from there, draw your strength, draw your resolve, draw your compassion for yourself and for the suffering on the planet. And know, as all things pass, you will hold the light for those who need to see their way. We step back, beloved star children, but we are always with you. Take a breath.
Oh. Well, that was absolutely beautiful, stunningly beautiful, very powerful. I can feel, I can see around me, but I don't think my eyes are quite open properly. Oh, thank you, Mele'ha. Thank you to our beautiful star mothers who are with us always and have never ever left our side.
And thank you for the whales and the whale language and the connection of all of that. It really makes it more grounded in this was a real life, and and it had such a purpose, and that's why we feel so connected to it now.
That's right. That's right. It's the healing, isn't it, of our planet and the healing of each of us. And when we are in that space together, when there is only one of us and the
Mhm.
healing begins, that is where the peace on earth begins.
In that one heart.
That's right.
Mm.
Oh, Mele'ha, the goddess in me sees and honors the goddess in you, as the goddess in you sees and honors the goddess in me.
For when I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one.
One of us. And healing begins and peace on earth begins within. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Everybody, thank you for being with us today and taking a journey of the soul and touching the light as we did, the Lemurian light. I feel there are many, many more, hundreds of thousands of connections than there were before we began, and that we have moved consciousness just that little bit further today with the love of the Star Mothers and the love of the whales who are always with us. Thank you for joining us today, and it's been our pleasure and our honor.
Aloha.
You've been with Dr. Amber Mele'ha Wolf of the Lemurian Sisterhood and Latina Russell from Wales of Lemuria, and we've loved this time and bid you namaste.